What's going on today, guys? Hutchins here. I know it's been 4 months since I've been on this game pretty much, and in the past week or so I have been playing a little bit more. There's a lot to talk about in this video because there's a lot I need to catch up on. I think my last video was almost a year ago. The last one I had was in 2017, and the last one I had before that, which is my last episode of Completionist series, I think was in 2016. So it really has been a while. I do plan on making a lot more content, hopefully, here in the near future, and just doing that more. I have been streaming kind of off and on throughout the past year or so, but I want to start putting out more videos and things of that nature. Basically, the first thing I want to talk about is real life and basically why I was gone for 4 months. Pretty much work has gotten in the way of a lot of things. Obviously, I'm working full-time. Sometimes I'm working overtime, so it obviously adds up. I also bought a new house lately. I am living alone, so now I have even more chores and responsibilities and bills and things of that nature. I have actually gotten better internet than I used to have. Much better internet, actually, like exponentially better. So streaming isn't a hassle, and hopefully uploading videos won't be such a hassle either. It's actually been quite nice to have that. But yeah, also, like some of you might already know, I'm getting married also in a few months, so there's that to take into account. I have spent a lot of money on that, and still a lot of money to go on that, so that's another thing that's going to preoccupy my time a little bit. Thankfully, she's supportive of my channel and my hobbies, so hopefully that won't get in the way too awful much. I've also been working out quite a bit more than I used to in the past, so I have been putting aside some time for that as well, and it's been kind of a welcome change to my life. It's making me feel better. I've been eating better, and it is. I've never been really like out of shape, I guess, but it's always nice to just kind of be in shape even more and keep challenging myself. But as I said, I've been getting into RuneScape a little bit more relaxed at first. I first started out with agility. I was going for 20 mil agility XP, and I was also farming tourstals in addition to that, just for some extra side money. And after about 2 or 3 days of that, I was like, this isn't really, paying the bills, so to speak, and I have a lot of goals that require me to get a lot more money, and I still have a lot more stuff for comp to do, which more on that later, unfortunately. But yeah, so lately I've started killing Zora. I look like a dweeb with these ancestral legs and the Aram's top, but I am getting closer and closer to getting an ancestral top, but also more on that later. But right now I'm just doing what will help me get more kills per hour, and if I have to look stupid to do that, then fine. But anyway, I have been trying to get caught up with Completionist and Max Gear. I have so much stuff that I need to do on both of those fronts, and obviously Completionist kind of leans on the Max Gear goal as well, so that's something that I have been looking at completing here lately. Second thing I kind of wanted to talk about was the things that I have completed since basically my last few videos. I don't know what I got to as far as elites go, but let's see here. Counters, alright. I actually have finished, obviously, my easy, medium, and hard clues. I'm pretty sure I covered that in my other completionist videos and things of that nature. But I have 154 elites done now, so I think that's actually quite a bit more than I left off on, so that's pretty nice. Masters, a lot of people are saying 100 masters are for comp, but I looked at the wiki and I also looked at some other things, and nothing is showing any rewards now that I have missed in the past 4 months being at 100 masters, so for now that's not technically comp, but nonetheless, once I finish elites, I am going to be working towards that masters goal, and I'm just going to put all my elite towards masters and basically try and get 100 as fast as possible, because I'm sure there will be something in the future, because it'd be just like Jagex to add something of that nature, since it kind of follows precedence. It would kind of make sense. And also, as well, something else that I completed since I've come back is, as you can see here, I got all but one music track now. Basically, I had to go to Theater of Blood, and I completed those 2 quests when I came back, the 2 new quests from the past 4 months or so. One was a Zaya quest, and the other was for the Theater of Blood. Somebody let me spectate their raid, and I was able to get those music tracks, thankfully, without actually doing it, because it's probably going to be a while before I can actually find some teams to do that. The only music track I have left is actually the one that you get from the Moss Giant boss, which I still have yet to figure out how the hell to do. That's something that I'm just going to have to set aside time for. Unfortunately, it seems like pretty boring and monotonous and pretty useless, but it's just something I've got to do for the music track, at least. Let's see. Another thing I wanted to show was pets. I'm not actually even sure what pets that I've shown in my Completionist series or what I've gotten since then, but obviously I've got these two. I got the Sire and the Heron, which I'm pretty certain the Sire pet was in one of my videos, because I completed it pretty much at the same time I Bludgeon. But then I got a Beaver, AFKing, and that has actually been from the past year or so. Like random times I would just log on and just AFK Redwoods. That's kind of when I started burning out or getting bored or whatever it is you want to call it. Obviously I got the Chin and the Skodos, which I'm fairly certain was also in one of my videos. But obviously not too many pets. That's a whole lot of completionist content right there that I still need to do, which we'll do it one day. We'll get it done, hopefully, eventually, at some point in time. But for right now, that's still something that that needs to be done. Oh, and something else that I wanted to talk about was my alt. I know some people were following that. I made a few videos on my alt progress. Basically, what I have it doing right now is I've trained it up enough to where I can AFK gargoyles. It's actually pretty good money, but since I'm killing Zora right now, I pretty much haven't been doing that. Even though it's a little more AFK, it still takes away from that. And I found myself dying a couple times to Zora, which is kind of sad because I was paying attention to my gargoyle alt. So I have been laying off on that for a little while. If I start to do something less click intensive on my main, then I'll probably do that on my alt. But for right now, it's just kind of holding a little bit of wealth for me. And if I ever get the time, then I'll start doing that a lot more actively. I was doing a lot more when I was training agility, but I'm not doing that anymore, obviously. Something else that I've completed since my last progress video is I got the new Mage Arena 2 cape, the Imbued Zamorak cape or whatever. I know there's a way to get more than one of those or to get different types, but I'm not actually doing that. I'll probably do that later to fill up the POH cape thing, whatever. I just needed one for right now, so that's what I did, and honestly, it was pretty irritating doing that, so I don't feel like doing it again. And that actually brings me to my next talking point, which is my plans and my goals for right now. Obviously, I've covered the clue scroll plans. Basically, I need to just keep getting masters and getting elites and doing those. The one big thing I need to do, and I want to finish this ASAP, is actually finishing the Inferno for the Inferno cape. But that, like I mentioned earlier, is going to lean on the fact that I need max gear to do that, or at least pretty close to max gear. Right now, I still need to get the Twisted Bow, Ancestral, and Kodai, and the Rapier, and the new Defender. I don't even know what you call that Rapier, but it's best in slot, at least for one-hand stab weapons, so I do need to get that. It's better than the Whip in quite a few places, but I'll probably get that last, actually, because it seems to be the least useful out of all the max gear, the new max gear or whatever. But the most important thing right now for me is the T-Bow, and that's something that I really need to get and what I'm working towards right now. As far as cash that goes to that right now, aside from the other max gear that I have, I'm pretty much going to sell my Ancestral back once I have enough for a T-Bow. But this cost me about 69 mil, I think, 68 mil, and then the top right now, I don't even know where it's at. It's in the 100 and teens, probably like 115, 120, something like that. But I'm almost to the top, so really I almost have about 200 mil to put towards it, which it's like 1.1 bill or like just over 1 bill. So that's obviously a work in progress. Right now I'm just pretty much killing Zora for it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I need to focus on right now, is getting that max gear so that I can complete Inferno. Something else that I wanted to kind of just touch on, I mean, it's kind of like a gripe, it's not exactly that important, but as you can see, and if you've watched my past completionist videos, I have one of each room that you can put in the POH if you just look around, and I have every hotspot maxed. And it cost me about 350 to 400 mil to do everything. I mean, obviously there's some like pretty important stuff that you kind of need to do to have like an efficient setup, but I pretty much went way overkill, and that was back whenever I had max gear at the time. There was really nothing else that I needed to spend my money on, which I also need an Ellie at this point, by the way. That's something else I forgot to mention. But yeah, it's actually kind of a pain in the butt now because I could be over halfway to a T-bow. I could be within like 300 or 400 mil probably. But I spent a ton of money on this. And do I regret it? Kinda. I kinda do. But at the same time, it looks cool, and I mean, I guess it's kind of like a talking point, and kind of shows a little bit of prestige, I guess. I mean, especially these freaking demon thrones. It just costs 25 mil, and then the one dragon downstairs costs 10 mil. And then I spent another 15 mil on hellhounds. So that's kind of got me irritated after I came back, and I need to spend all this money on all this new gear, but I didn't realize that Raids was going to have all that stuff whenever I built that at the time. So that's just something that that I've kind of been coping with lately and kind of just beating myself up over, but that's really here nor there. I guess it brought me joy at the time, so maybe it was worth it. I actually have been thinking about minimizing it lately for better loading time and to more efficiently get to the rejuvenation pool, but I just don't know if I want to do that yet. I mean, I could probably have 100% efficient setup like I have in my video that I made, but I mean, that's just a lot of money to destroy, and I might want it back later, so right now I'm just kind of debating back and forth about that. But anyway, back to what I was talking about for my plans to make money. Right now I'm killing Zora, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm hoping to get the last mutagen that I need on the way. I need a magma. I have a Tanzanite mutagen, I have the pet, so and actually right now I have about 4k kills. I'm within about 20 kills of getting 4k, so hopefully I'll be lucky on that. I would really like to get the mutagen kind of soon. I mean, it's not really that important because I do need to kill a lot of Zora to get a lot of items. So it's not really that big of a deal, but that is something else that I need to do. And I've heard talks of possible mutagen insurance later on down the road, so that might be actual requirement for Completionist. And actually, I don't know if the mutagens will actually be tracked on the drop log that's coming out soon, which I'm going to talk about later. I'll discuss that in a later time. But yeah, I'm hoping that that won't affect it either way. If I do get one, then really it's fine. Even if it's not tracked, it's not going to stop me from killing Zora, and not going to stop me from the fact that I can get some more mutagens later. I did think about doing Vorkath, but right now Zora's just kind of been easier for me. I've been doing Zora a lot longer, and I have a lot more KC, and to me it's more relaxed than Vorkath. So I might still do that later. We'll just have to wait and see. I also might do Theater Bloods and Raids after the drop log. Well, I really don't need to worry about that right now because I still need max gear to do both of those things. Both original raids like Chambers of Xeric and the Theater of Blood. So really I don't even have to worry about that right now. There is a new challenge mode raid that came out I think a couple months ago actually. It was like 2 or 3 months ago. And that's actually hard as piss. I tried with a 4-man team and we knew what the hell we were doing, but like Tecton was just like completely raping us. So I was just like, you know what, screw this. I'm just not going to worry about this right now. There's actually talk of a point mode, or a point mode, like a point system for raids. Like 1 point will count towards the cape, the Xeric cape, where you have to get like 2,000 challenge mode raids or whatever, which would be a complete pain in the butt. So they're talking about making normal raids count towards 1 point, and then maybe challenge mode raids counting towards like 3 or 4 points. So that would be kind of cool, at least for a completionist standpoint, because it wouldn't make the cape so like monotonous and grindy, just doing the same exact raid over and over again. And it would also be a little bit easier, which at this point it doesn't really matter if completionist content is easier. Like, I've never vouched for comp content to be nerfed or made easier, but at this point in time, comp in general is just it's so long and grindy that at this point, it doesn't even matter if one method is nerfed and it's made worse than something else because it's still thousands and thousands of hours. So at this point, I'm not even going to complain about it. And I actually think it should be easier. So it actually makes it possible because right now, with the drop log coming out, it's pretty much humanly impossible, at least if you have a life and you don't want to spend 30 years trying to comp on old school. That's pretty much at the point we're at. Either way, I also just found something else out today. I'm actually going to come up here and show you how I found it out. I was looking through my costume room over here, and I went to the cape rack, and I wanted to see what all I needed to put in there, like what all was new, and I scrolled to the bottom, and let's see, I was like, oh yeah, I need to get this Infernal Cape, that's a pain in the butt, and the Xerix capes, yeah, that's going to be a pain in the butt. Challenge mode, I knew about that already. But then I saw this Sinhaza Shroud, whatever. And then I looked that up, I was like, oh, hell no. And sure enough, 2000 Theater of Blood is required for that. I didn't even know about that until now, and I've been back on Old School for a week. So that was also kind of disappointing, because I don't even think anybody has reached that yet. And there's some, obviously, really good PVMers that No Life Theater of Blood, have max gear, including a Scythe, which I probably won't get for a very long time, that don't have anywhere near that. So, yeah, that's something else that I'm going to have to put a lot of time and energy towards. So, really, I mean, that's just going to happen when it happens, and I'm just going to finish what I can and not even worry about it. I mean, that pretty much touches on my next point as far as unrealistic comp goals, and that's kind of something I wanted to talk about as well, and this thing is killing me. That's just annoying me. But anyway, all pets is one of them for me, because obviously there's like 40-something pets now, and that's thousands and thousands of... Whereas I do plan on bossing, and I do plan on getting a lot more pets and skilling and getting pets, and especially after the drop log comes out, because it's going to be kind of fun to do that, I think. Even though that's going to make comp impossible. That's pretty much the comp killer. But that's still something that I'm going to want to do, and maybe the drop log will encourage me to do that. As I mentioned earlier, hopefully the mutagens will be tracked on said drop log, because it's pretty much going to track all bosses and clue scrolls and mini games and things that you get from it. So it's really going to be a pain in the butt, especially for third age. That's the main thing, is third age, and there's a lot of rare boss drops as well. I don't know if it's going to track Slayer drops as well, and I think it is. And that's something else that's just going to take a ton of time. So basically, somebody counted up, it's going to take like 70,000 hours to complete all third age. So, yeah, obviously not going to do that anytime soon. I hope if there's a comp cape at any point in time, then they just pretty much eliminate that out of the question. Even if all pets are on it, that would be a lot more realistic than actually having that drop log on it. And hopefully they will be able to track mutagens, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, those two capes that I just mentioned, the drop log and all pets for me, I mean, that's pretty much the bane of my existence right now. Once I finish Completionist, aside from all of those things, then I'll be pretty happy if I can get Inferno, and I'll just slowly work towards those and just be relaxed about it. I'm not going to no-life it. I'm not going to try and burn out. I'm just going to do it at my own pace and try and just enjoy the ride and get as much of the drop log done as I can. Because I think it'll still be prestigious in and of itself to have some of that stuff done at least. So I will do that. But anyway, guys, I pretty much covered all that I've needed to cover. This video will probably be about 18-19 minutes by the time I end up editing it. So if you got to this point, thanks for watching. I really do appreciate it. I understand if a lot of people have kind of gone inactive from my channel. I hope not. I mean, I've actually gained subscribers, and people are still commenting on all my videos, which thank you, by the way, if you're still watching my videos and still interested in subscribing. And thank you for saying subscribe, because that actually means a lot, and I'm still actually getting good feedback on some of my videos. Some bad feedback, but the good feedback pretty much overtakes the bad feedback most days, so that's pretty nice. And again, thank you everybody for watching. I actually have a birthday party to go to this evening. I might stream when I get home. I'm not exactly sure. And I might stream tomorrow as well. I've just got a couple things to do. Might make a video as well tomorrow. Not exactly sure what I would do it on. But definitely look forward to more videos in the future. As long as I keep finding RuneScape fun, then I'll keep on doing it. And I'll try to stream as well. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you got some entertainment out of this, and I will see you next time.